Our investigators have worked tirelessly to piece together evidence and analyze all available information. And during the course of that investigation, we now know that the timeline of the defendant's actions stretched back to early Sunday morning, July 2nd, with the murder of Mr. Joseph Wama, Jr. Based on the evidence that was received, we have been able to determine that Philadelphia police received one 911 call at approximately 2:00 a.m. on the morning of July 2nd, 2023. This call reported gunshots in the area of 1600 South 56th Street, approximately 90 minutes after it is believed that Mr. Wama was murdered. This call was dispatched, however, to the 1600 block of North 56th Street in the 19th Police District, several miles away.
So on the night of the 3rd, we know the police responded. It was horrific and chaotic scene. 4 homicide victims were discovered along with 2 other shooting victims, and crime scenes were developed, and detectives responded to the scene. Now, at that time, we had a suspect in custody, but that still doesn't mean that it's over. That investigation really just began, and the commissioner said it that night, and it was said repeatedly the next day. So detectives continued this investigation. About 3 hours, 45 minutes later, we received information from a family member that Mr. Wamba was inside the property. Officers entered and found a crime scene. They found that he was deceased, and he became the 5th victim that night. It was apparent that night, and not much was, that the same firearm was used. And the casings looked the same, and so he was held as part of that incident. In the days that followed, detectives went block by block, and as we do in many of these cases, we find video that we could piece together. All right, the video they found was a good 10 minutes of video that they were able to put together. We see the defendant in several of the blocks discharging his weapon. We only see a couple of the shooting victims that are shot. All right, and other shooting victims are out of the camera view. But we couldn't explain, and we had camera shots of in front of in the 1600 block of South 56 when the defendant entered and did that shooting. There were too many questions at that point. So more detectives went out to the location, and we encountered other witnesses. One of those witnesses did say that they called 911. But at that point, we could not find the call. We looked up and down. There were no calls that we could corroborate on the 1600 block of South 56 on Sunday. That's when we asked to see their phone. We checked the call log, and then we were able to connect exactly what number called, and we found out that the mistake was made, as the commissioner described, and those units responded to North 56th and not South 56th. Once we had that information, we were able to go look for video at the exact time, and we did find video of the homicide on Sunday, where he goes to the door, and most of what occurs is inside. You don't see it, but he does shoot and enter into the property. So it is the same defendant. We know it's Kim Brady Curringer, but it did not happen on Monday. It happened on Sunday.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.